Today we're going to practice dividing decimals by whole numbers. So as I'm doing the problem, I want you to do your problem on your whiteboard and marker. Let's start with this problem. So we have to find our easy breezy facts for 4. We know that 4 times 2 is 8. We know that 4 times 5 is 20. And we know that 4 times 10 is 40. Now, since we're dealing with decimals, you guys know all the skills to solve this problem. You know how to divide, and you know how to multiply by decimals. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to do 4 times, if 4 times 2 is 8, 4 times 2 tenths, remember we just do 4 times 2 is 8. We have one number after our decimal. One number after our decimal would be 8 tenths. 4 times 5 tenths, well, 4 times 5 is 20. We have one number. My decimal would go right there since we need to have one number. Okay, so 4 times, let's just do 6 as an example. Let's say 0.6. We know 4 times 6 is 24. If there's one number after my decimal, there has to be one number after my decimal in my answer. All right, so let's start here. 4 times what is going to get me close to 16? I'm going to pretend that my decimal is not even there. 4 times what's going to get me close to 16? And if you know your facts, we know that 4 times 4 is actually exactly 16. But we really don't want 16. We need to have a decimal right here. This is where your knowledge of multiplying decimals comes in. We know that 4 times 4 is 16. But we know that we need to have a decimal here, and there's one number after my decimal in my answer. So there has to be one number after my decimal in my problem. So my answer to this question is 4 tenths.
18 from 9 times what?
All right, now we're going to try another problem. 25 and 8 tenths divided by 12, and I went ahead and did our easy breezy facts. So let's look here. And let's just look at the numbers before my decimal. Okay, so my number before my decimal is 25, and I'm looking at my facts, and I know that 12 times 2 is 24. So that's really close. So I'm going to do 12 times 2 is 24. Now I have a decimal here, so I got to make sure I put a decimal and a 0. I did not change my number at all. Okay, 24 and 24.0 are the exact same numbers. So we can go ahead and subtract 8. Our decimal comes straight down. 5 minus 4 is 1. So now we have 1 and 8 tenths. Go ahead and put that on your board or on your notebook. And we got to think here. We're trying to do 12 times something to get me close to 1.8. But I'm going to pretend my decimal is not there. Let's pretend that that's just an 18. Okay? 12 times 1 would be 12. And now we're going to put our decimal back. So we want my decimal to be right here. Since there's going to be one number after my decimal in my answer, I got to go over here and I got to make sure there's one number after my decimal over here. So it's not 12 times 1 is 12. It's 12 times 1 tenth is 1.2. So you got to make sure they match. If there's one after here, there needs to be one after here. So we subtract. Go ahead and do this. 8 minus 2 is 6. Then we just have our decimal there.